Thank you for inviting me to this interview. So ESG is actually being packaged as environmental, social and governance issues, and the acronym has become loved or unloved for many reasons. However, I would say that it is actually aggregation of a lot of issues which we face in the society, which we face in the environment on the planet, and the idea is that the future capitalism, it becomes inclusive. It includes those externalities of the planet, of the society, and it leads to a better outcome for people. It reduces income inequality, it leads to better environment, lower pollution, lesser heat waves and all other natural disasters that we are facing today. And ESG is one such acronym under which many issues are tackled, and it is something which is a solution for all of this. That is how I can define ESG for you. Yeah, certainly. I think again that's a very wide question, because today, unlike financial accounting, where there is one universal body that sets the rules for accounting, that is IFRS. In case of ESG, there are quite a few bodies which develop the standards, but that harmonization has now been decided under the body called ISSB, which is a combination of the IFRS, that is the financial regulatory accounting regulatory body, and the Sustainability Accounting Standards Board, SASB. So these are the primary organizations from which important ESG and sustainability related disclosures will come out, which will help all the stakeholders who need to understand this, whether they are investors, whether they are shareholders, whether they are suppliers, whether they are employees, or anyone else who is an important stakeholder in the running of a corporation. Oh, there are several progresses that are being made through the use of ESG. One of the very shining example today you can take is that the emergence of renewable energy. So today renewable energy has gone to about 11-12% of the total energy used in the world, and it's likely to get to about 60-70% in order to bring down the temperature rate in the world. That will happen probably in the next 30, 40 or 50 years, but that is one major thing that is happening as a result of adopting ESG and sustainability in business and in normal life. Secondly, the transition to electric vehicles, which is again going to reduce pollution and is going to improve the overall efficiency for all those people who are traveling. So these are two very major areas, I would say, are positive outcomes from ESG. Yes, again a very pertinent question. So what is happening is that one, that ESG has still got multiple standards. So once the harmonization happens, people will find it easier to adopt, and also it will become more cost effective. Today it is not so much cost effective. So when normal people look at it, they find that the return on investment is not very attractive when it comes to ESG. So I think that is a major dichotomy which is getting resolved with the new harmonized accounting standards coming from the ISSB, and impact accounting, etc., coming into vogue. This is all that will go away, but that is a major challenge in my view. The multiple standards and the cost and the ROI, I think these are some of the mental blocks that are there, but I think that have happened in case of any new technology or new practice if we look at the history. So I would not be worried. I think 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, this is going to be a mainstream. Look, greenwashing is a nice name for the intentional or unintentional scandals that take place in the ESG field through the use of ESG or sustainability, or in the garb of ESG and sustainability. So This is something not new in the world, because we have been seeing several financial scandals despite the existence of very, very robust accounting and financial standards worldwide. Lots of disclosures, lots of regulatory supervision. So this is still evolving, this is new, ESG and sustainability, and therefore either due to lack of knowledge or due to deliberate purpose of misleading investors or other users, people overcommit their claims. Mainly it is happening in terms of making overstated claims that okay, we are also green, we are also sustainable, however you are not. So that is something which is called greenwashing. There is also SDG washing, there is also impact washing. So all these kind of things are happening. Lot of wrong claims have been made in the carbon credits and offsets field. So all this is giving bad name to ESG, which is otherwise doing fantastic, and it is actually helping mobilize a lot of resources, financial resources, which will ultimately lead to net zero by 2050 as desired by the Paris Accord, and that is our only way to get to a more secure planet for the sake of all of us. So therefore I think the greenwashing is a passing phase. It will reduce so much over time that people would not really remember it so much. So the beauty of sustainability lies in its materiality. The materiality for oil and gas industry is different, for cement industry is different, for banks it's different, for IT sector it's different. So for any services sector, the scope 1 and scope 2 emissions are not much, because the process is not manufacturing, the process is not using energy as such. However, there is a lot of energy that is being used in data centers. There is a lot of energy that is being used by employees when they travel to work, when they travel for business, when they use aircrafts, all of that. So some of the estimates suggest that AI itself will have, in the next few years, will have emissions more than the country Argentina. That's just one example. And another expectation is that data centers itself and cloud will have 10 to 12% of the world emissions, which is probably more than double that of what India's emissions are today. So it is very important for the IT industry that they use more of the renewables, and their data centers are powered by renewables. That is what they should look at. And the other aspect is also that how can employees move to more low carbon or renewable source of energy when they are doing commute. So I think these are two critical areas. And then there are many social aspects, because IT industry consists of employees, and how you use human capital, especially when we look at pandemic. So how do you improve the diversity and inclusion of the people? How do you make sure that the gender pay gap is not there? How do you make sure that there is no digital divide in the world, because there are some areas which are good in internet and technology, there are some areas which are not, and that is actually creating a lot of social unrest. And if that is also addressed by IT companies, I would say those are the material issues for the IT industry to address when it comes to sustainability. It's my pleasure, and thank you once again for inviting me.